And so let us take this vibration of peace into our time of meditation now. As I invite you to get even more comfortable in your chair, feeling the support of the chair, and feeling the support of the loving presence of God that is right here, right now. And in this time, let us entertain the notion that we live in a friendly universe. And in this moment, the universe is making us a wonderful offer to participate. An expanded peace, love, joy, and the heart resonance of our true divine nature. This nature of oneness with God, each other, and all life. Letting your breath become deep and easy. Allowing yourself to open even a little bit more to this wonderful, benevolent energy as universe as friend, as God as friend, companion, encourager, supporter, inspirer, comforter, provider of all that we need. And allow yourself to rest even more deeply in the safety of this divine flow that moves within us and moves as us and in our lives. This greater experience of healing, wholeness, inner peace, love, the universe is my friend. God is my friend. The universe is my friend. God is my friend. So now let us be in stillness for a few moments receptive to any messages our friend may have for us. And now as we return our awareness to this room, let us return with gratitude for all of the blessings that have been, the blessings that are here now, and the blessings of friendship on their way. Amen. And Sylvia is here in spirit. We saw her name on the... And Christy, before you go, I just want us to give Christy a blessing because she's been a friend to Unity of Carlsbad for how many years? Like decades.
Maybe at least 10.
10 years.
12.
Yeah, 12 years. And she's moving. So let's give her a Unity blessing of we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Let's give her that blessing. Christy, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Thank you for being here. Well, happy Friendship Sunday. It's great to see familiar faces, and I see some new faces out there. So if you brought a friend today, just raise your hand and let's give them a hand. Welcome to Unity of Carlsbad. So I know some of you have friends who couldn't make it or friends who live far away. And so maybe they're going to be watching a little bit later here. So friend, if you're watching, know that you are blessed in this service whenever you see it. And some of us are lucky enough to have family as friends, right? Yeah. So this month we've been focusing on ways to build community and to build our bonds with each other. And not only in spiritual community, but at home and out in the world, and to build our connection to the God of our understanding. And so we've looked at prayer as a way to build community, to pray together, to pray with somebody and for somebody, to hold the high watch, right? And then we looked at generosity of spirit in giving our time, our talent, our treasure, volunteering, but also generosity of thought and kindness and giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? So today, another uniting quality we're looking at is friendship. And as one person put it, Bernard Meltzer, a true friend is someone who thinks you're a good egg, even though he knows you're slightly cracked. Cracked open, right? So that godlike can get out and the godlike can come in. Yeah, it's a good thing. So To those of you that it's your first time here, know that your friend believes in the power of friendship. They believe in the blessing of friendship. And to reach out to you, to invite you to share our unity experience here. So welcome. Robert Louis Stevenson said, "A friend is a present you give yourself." Yeah. So who remembers their first friend? I know for some of us that's a long time ago. Well, as a child, I was lucky enough to have a best friend who lived next door. And her name was Rosalind, and her nickname was Sissy. But I was always amazed, her dad called her Princess. So I met her when I was 4, and we grew up together, and we're at each other's house almost every day, and swimming, and secrets, and sleepover, and playing Parcheesi, those kid kind of things. And we influenced each other, mostly in positive ways, and until we got to the teenage years, but that's another story. And and friendship demands some things sometimes to be forgiving, right? Because things happen. And I can remember I was about 10, and we were playing with her brother's dartboard in the garage. We weren't supposed to, but we were. And I learned a lesson that day not to stand by the dartboard. It was her turn, and it landed, boom, right in my third eye. So I'm this little kid crying with this dart bobbing, pull it out. I think I was mad at her for a day, but then we made up, And we couldn't tell anybody because we weren't supposed to be playing the darts. So this friendship, I think it molded me. It brought out leadership in me. It brought out so many things of connecting, how to connect one-on-one with somebody. And then my family moved when I was a teenager, and we moved 500 miles away, and from Northern California down to Carlsbad, actually. And our friendship did not stand the test of the move. Sometimes things happen in friendships. We move, or a friend moves, or we get busy with work or school or family, or we just have different interests, or we grow apart, busy schedule, or death even. And I know I saw so many of you yesterday at Ken Harrison's funeral, our friend Ken Harrison. It was a beautiful service. Yeah, wasn't it? And I was just struck by how many friends he had in different areas. And when his son, Johnny, got up there, he said, "How many are the fishing friends?" And then there was the comedy club friends, and there was the traffic school people, and then the YOUers, the Unity people, friends from childhood. He had this wide scope of influence of people and friends, and it was so beautiful to be part of that. So know that in Unity, you always have friends here. We are on this path together. We all have something in common of learning and growing and letting God be God in us in ways that sometimes our mind says, "Really? Okay." So we stretch, we grow together, and we will always have that in common. And you always have a friend here. And how many of you have gone to other Unity churches and it feels like home? You walk in the door and you have instant friends there. So one of the often overlooked gifts of friendship is a new part of us can come alive. Now think about your life. Can you think about a friend who brought something out in you or introduced you to something that you wouldn't have thought of by yourself? When I was new to Unity, I had some Unity friends, and this was quite a while ago, and one of my friends was a vegetarian. And at that time, it was kind of a weird thing 30 years ago, right? And it says, come over to my house, I'll make some food for you. And tofu? What is this, a sponge? And but it tasted good, the way she made it. So it was, when we're open to exploring, our friends help us to explore new things and new aspects of ourselves. And she influenced me in a lot of ways that I would normally not even think of. And exploring vegetarianism, veganism was one of those things. As well as going on car trips and putting tape over the clock. Yeah, living in a different time versus clock time. So there's more stories there, but I will save those for later. So our relationships are like the threshing floor that brings out these sparkling aspects of us, our God aspects, and we see who we are, and we see who we didn't know we were. When our friends can bring out different sides of us. Like maybe you have the music friends, or the card playing friends, or the friends from work, or the friends from the social, different aspects of ourselves our friends bring out. And I've often heard that friendship is described as God's way of putting on skin. Yeah. So good friends nurture the potential in us, don't they? They see the best in us. They cheer us on. They see our Christ light. And I like how author Donna Roberts puts it. A friend is someone who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. So friends are not only here for us during the good times, but in those times of challenge and trouble, right? And so a great visual for friendship that I want to share with you are the sequoia redwood trees. How many of you have been to the redwoods? And you can see, how many of them, there's so many at once, right? You hardly ever see one alone, that they're always in a group. So I want to share a little bit about this. So the majestic giants tower as much as 300 feet above the ground. Strangely, sequoias have unusually shallow root systems and reach out in all directions to capture the greatest amount of surface moisture. Seldom will you see a redwood standing alone because high winds would quickly uproot it. That's why they grow in clusters. Their intertwining roots provide support for one another against the storms. So think about right now, you have intertwining roots with your friends. Let's see if you can picture that for a moment, whether your friend is sitting next to you or far away. You have these invisible roots of connection that nourishment goes back and forth, strength goes back and forth, joy goes back and forth, it travels in those roots. That we receive it and we send it, we receive it and send it. So we are intertwined. And we can't live in isolation. I think it's Brene Brown who tells a story of this village where the women would all gather to do the wash together. down at the river. And then they got washing machines. And there was an outbreak of depression, and no one could figure out why. But it wasn't the machines, it was the absence of connection and community that the women had while they were doing the laundry. So friendship is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It seemed like when it was a kid, it was real easy, right? I'm watching my now he's almost 4, grandson just go up and say, will you be my friend? Boom, on the spot, friendship. And so we get a little older, we might have to work at it a little bit, right? Work at it. But Jesus needed friends too. And he knew that he would need support for the great work that was his to do, that he could not do it alone. And so he chose his 12 to be his constant companions, to be his best friends. And he was a friend to many. And he got around socially. People were drawn to him. And I want to share something with you from the book The Man Nobody Knows by Bruce Barton. And he has some wonderful insights about Jesus. This is what he wrote. Jesus liked to dine out. He was the most popular dinner guest in Jerusalem. He loved to be in the crowd. Apparently, he attended feasts at Jerusalem not merely as religious festivals, but because all the folks were there. He had an embracing fondness for folks. We err if we think of him as a social outsider. To be sure, it was the poor who heard him gladly, and most of his close disciples were men and women of the lower social classes. But there was a time when he was quite the favorite in Jerusalem. The story of his days is dotted with phrases. A certain ruler decided that he should eat with them. They desired him greatly to remain, and he abode for 2 days. So he loved people. He saw the best in them. He encouraged them. And isn't that the kind of friend that we'd like to have? Isn't that the kind of friend we like to be, we strive to be? So we're going to close our service with a meditative friendship blessing. And so, if you'd like to close your eyes, you can. I invite you to bring someone to mind, whether it's the person sitting next to you, or it's someone just on your heart that's farther away, or one of your Unity friends here, whoever comes to mind. And just let these words travel out. See them traveling out as a soft blessing to your friends. Lord, bless my friends right now. Show them a new revelation of your love and power. Holy Spirit, I ask you to minister to my friend's spirit at this very moment. Where there is pain, give them your peace and mercy. Where there is self-doubt, release a renewed confidence in your ability to work through them. Where there is tiredness or exhaustion, I ask you to give them understanding, patience, and strength as they learn to follow your guidance. Where there is spiritual stagnation, I ask you to renew them by revealing your nearness and drawing them into a greater intimacy with you. Where there is fear, reveal your love and release to them your courage. Thank you, God, for blessing my friends today, for blessing their finances, relationships, health, and prosperity. And thank you for providing me with more friends to love, support, and encourage. Amen. Thank you. Thank you.